What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook Preview Show for a Wednesday 10-game main slate. A big Wednesday night slate starting at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Only a couple of day games on Wednesday. Usually we kind of have like a split slate on these Wednesdays lately, but not the case. A big slate here. Nick Pivetta, $10,000 is your top price starting pitcher. Chris Sale is 9,800 against Arizona. Do you think Chris Sale will garner the ownership that Spencer Strider got on Wednesday? Granted, he's $1,300 more expensive, but predictably, maybe not as predictably, but we were worried about anybody pitching against Arizona, and Strider felt that. Marte homer twice off him. Nick Abel called back up, making a spot start here again. They're moving Ty Walker to the bullpen. Aaron Nola could be back soon, so this one just might be one last spot start before Nola returns. He was amazing in his start. I think it was against Pittsburgh, I want to say. Pittsburgh. Tougher matchup here against Toronto, but he's $9,000. Your boy Noah Cameron and his $5K per nine at $8,800 gets the Cardinals here. What are we feeling for these top four price starting pitchers?
I mean, the Pivetta looks good. I mean, Pivetta has been great outside of pitching in cores. That's been the only blip in the radar this year. Actually, that Cubs start earlier in the year was like in like frigid, snowy weather. So
Yeah.
he hasn't pitched well in cores and in cold.
Which is basically the same thing at some time.
Right. Yeah, basically the same thing. This is neither, and it's a really good pitching environment. So definitely love Pivetta. He'll get a bunch of ownership. Look, Chris Sale has been, we had talked about it about halfway through this year. We were like, doesn't look very Cy Young-y, but it did. If you just looked all the peripherals, has not looked back. He has been absolutely the same pitcher he was last year. That won the Cy Young. Yeah, he's good. So is Arizona. But if you want to play Chris Sale, like there's obviously a ceiling. But again, we saw what Arizona's offense can do.
Especially against a lefty, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, they've actually been better against righties this year.
That's true. Their lineup has switched around a little bit, right? Losing Walker, and now going with the lefty and Naylor changes that a little bit,
Yeah,
notably.
It's been. Yeah, and Ketel Marte has been as dominant as he was last year against lefties as a lefty this year. So, it's, that's not fair that he can just do that, right? Like year to year, he's just like, I'll just be a 1,500 OPS player from the other side this year. It's like, all right, dude, whatever. So you can play Sale. It's obviously a tough spot, but you can do it. Abel, look, Toronto is a weird offense because they're really good against lefties. They have suddenly kind of figured it out against both splits, at least in the last week or so. Now that helps when you're facing the Athletics pitching, but they once again homered off the Phillies bullpen against
when you have Addison Barger out there acting like Jose Bautista.
When you have Addison Barger, it definitely helps. But this is obviously the better split to target if you're talking the handedness of a pitcher, right?
Yeah, they still don't strike out.
But they don't strike out. They don't strike out. You're 100% right. Speaking of no strikeouts, Noah Cameron.
Yeah.
Not going to change against. Yeah,
struck out 8 Twins. Everything else is fine, but the strikeouts, man.
Yeah, I don't suspect it to change here either against the Cardinals, who are a good offense against lefties. We've talked about this all year long. Like, you would think not, but the Cardinals are good against lefties every single time that we look towards targeting them. So, on Noah Cameron. It's probably just the top two for me. You can play Abel, but $9,000 in his second start, leaving no room for error there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Merrill Kelly, Kyle Harrison, Clark Schmidt, Jose Berrios is your next group. Kelly has had okay starts his last few. Harrison had the pitch count, working his way up 80 pitches, was really good against Miami, but got pulled. Maybe that changes here with another start. We've talked sort of the overall struggles of the Padres offense to really get much of anything going. Their numbers against lefties really aren't anything special. They don't strike out against them, but 294 WOBA, 235 batting average, 130 ISO. Nothing great there. Clark Schmidt, great against the Eagles. Can he repeat that against Cleveland here?
Dude, Clark Schmidt's he's just a good pitcher. I think he can. Obviously, you worry about Ramirez. There's a few things you worry about in this lineup. It's a pretty good strikeout spot. I mean, Cleveland, at least against lefties, don't strike out. I don't think they actually strike out against righties very much. Do you have the Fangraphs open?
I do. Cleveland versus righties. If I could just see their team, 25%.
Ooh,
I lied. Nope,
that's lefties.
Nope. Yeah,
that's lefties.
Yeah, it is. Righties, 20%.
Okay, so fine.
Middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's fine.
Last 2 weeks, 20% still. So still the same.
It's fine. Yeah, it's just what it is, right? I'd be pretty good going to Clark Schmidt, and I suspect he gets a bunch of ownership at that price. Berrios
may be there.
What happened?
Win equity may be there.
Win equity there. Berrios obviously coming off his best start this year, like undoubtedly best start this year. Not even close.
9 strikeouts. Where did that come from?
The last year's A's creeping into play here. This is different. We saw what Philly can do with Bryce Harper back in the lineup, right? Bowden Francis learned the hard way. It's not fun when Philly is like full. First inning home run from Trey Turner. First inning home run from Bryce. Trey hit a second one. Like there are 6 runs in the first. Like they're a really good offense. So, if you want to play Berrios, it'll be contrarian because I suspect again, like him versus Schmidt, the ownership's not even going to be comparable. Like no one's going to play Berrios versus Clark Schmidt.
I would agree with you. The next year has some. Boz was looking good for 5 innings, and then they sent him back out, and it immediately went south for him. Altuve hit a homer, and then he gave up a double to the next guy, and that was basically it for him there. He gets Texas. We know Texas offense has struggled. Zebby, first inning troubles for Zebby in that matchup against Seattle, and then he shut him down the rest of the game. This, we know, super talented pitcher, but the ballpark certainly a bit concerning maybe for Matthews there against the Athletics in Sacramento. Obviously Luis Ortiz, we had some strikeout upside, but that's the Yankees. Kumar Rocker's back off the IL. He was terrible during his major league stint. He was great during his minor league rehab. Any of this registering for you once we basically get past the 8K tier?
Can we? I'm telling you, my computer will literally explode live on air.
Yeah.
What is the Zebby fly ball rate? Because he's gotten more fly ball outs than grounders.
Yeah, his ground ball rate percentage is only 34%.
Okay, because that's just.
He also has the 13.5K per 9.
Yeah, no, dude. We knew the strikeouts, right? Like that was gonna be a thing. He misses a lot of bats.
Yeah.
And we've said that. Like from the moment he got called up, he's missed bats, and that hasn't stopped. Like you have specifically been on record about how good the Royals are at not striking out. And he struck out 9 in his second start this year. Like that alone tells you what you need to know about Zebby Matthews' like ability to miss bats.
I think his biggest takeaway is 94 pitches, 7 innings. So there's no cap on him anymore.
None. This would be the spot because of the ceiling. And I recognize tough spot, but just like from a pure talent standpoint, when you're talking about the tier down here, like it's similar to Boz. It's a great matchup because Texas can't hit, or at least hasn't hit. They had a pretty good like weekend series where they hit. But I'm good with basically like Schmidt, Boz, Zebby. Probably not a lot else. Like where the Jorge Lopez start is pushed. Not Jorge Lopez. Jacob Lopez pushed back, which is good because we wanted to play Twins anyway. I wouldn't hate playing Rocker, but dude, he didn't throw a lot of pitches in the rehab start, and also like the Rays do just have a lot of lefties they can throw at him, so it's probably a no from me on basically anything else lower than Zebby. Zebby's probably the lowest I'd go.
I don't blame you. And again, he's kind of got interesting splits here. So 34.3% ground ball rate, only a 37% fly ball rate, and it's a line drive rate though of 29%. So
interesting. Okay.
The line you obviously don't want line drives, right?
No.
Line drives are not good. That means that they're sparing it up on you. But like all of his peripheral numbers look really good. Obviously right now he's got a 6.4 ERA, but he's got a 3.6 expected ERA, a 2.48 xFIP, and a 3.01 FIP. So like, all those numbers look pretty good for Zebby there. And yeah, we're not going to touch any of the guys below her, right? Didn't think so.
No, Zebby. No, I would take shots on Zebby and Boz, but nothing below them.
I agree. All right, catcher position. Obviously here, Kyle Raleigh's up at the top. Will Smith, Devon Herrera, a lot of guys you can go to. Austin Wells. We've talked Luis Ortiz in years past. His struggles versus lefties. Drake Baldwin homered tonight.
He did.
$4,300. Merrill Kelly was a reverse splits guy.
Until he faced the Nationals, who threw 9 lefties at them. Dude, they threw 9 lefties against every one of those pitchers, and they didn't get anyone out. Like literally, they had a pitcher who didn't get anyone out.
Yeah, poor Brandon Pfaadt didn't have a fighting.
He did not have any fight. No, nice.
Yeah, that's a good one. Listen, we like Brandon Pfaadt. Shout out Brandon Pfaadt, but that was an ugly. That poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
Your boy here, Dylan Dingler, got a matchup here against Jared Schuster. That feels like a spot.
Oof,
Ryan Jeffers below him.
Yes.
Jacob Lopez, $3,700. That feels like a spot.
That's the one right there. Yep.
If you want to go either of those two in this mid range, certainly can get that done.
Yeah, those are the spots. I don't really have much to add there. Those are the spots. There's going to be value. Pages 26. Play him.
Elias Diaz versus Harrison.
If Vasquez cracks the lineup, right? You go Vasquez.
Yeah, Pedro Pages is in the lineup at $2,600. Sometimes they double DH. Like, well, you can get that play for sure.
Yep.
All right. First base position. Ohtani obviously up at the top here. Harper homered tonight. Freddie Freeman, Alonso, Kelly, kind of the same usual suspects up at the top. I would be more inclined again to go to Jonathan Aranda, who had 2 hits tonight. Ballpark again. Kumar Rocker has not looked good at the major league level yet. So you want to throw a bunch of lefties at Kumar Rocker and challenge him in Tampa Bay? Like I'd be doing that for sure.
Yeah, they look good with Josh Lowe in the lineup and with Junior Caminero hitting. They look really good.
Caminero started hitting, right? Like,
yeah,
the dude has a walking 30 homer season, right? He just had to get one. Once he got one, the floodgates opened.
Yeah, and then he had 2 home runs and 2 doubles in the same game, and you're like, oh right, that guy is better than.
Oh no, Kumar.
Is it lefties?
Lefty splits.
Oh, I actually was just pulling up the. I was just pulling them up too.
432 batting average, 659 slugging, 477 WOBA allowed. to lefties on the year. Even like the peripheral numbers aren't even helping him out here. 576 FIP, 513 XFIP, 10% strikeout rate, 1.9 homers per 9 innings, 4.8 K per 9. Righties are better slightly. 250 batting average, 310 WOBA, 409 slugging, 24% strikeout rate to righties. Oh, those numbers against lefties. Wrong team. Wrong. Maybe only the Nationals probably can throw more lefties.
The Nationals, yeah. They have 9 because they have like 3 switch hitters.
Yeah,
they could literally throw 9 at them.
But they're going to throw, obviously, Lowe, Lau, Aranda, Tice,
Meisner,
Adam.
Yeah.
Is there more?
Yeah, there's
like Walls in the lineup.
I don't know. Walls is a switch hitter. They could do Caballero's a righty. Who else is out there?
They sent down Simpson, so
they have other. No, we're gonna figure. They do. We're just gonna look. I was trying to do it off memory, but
I guess. Well, Yandy will be a righty. Yandy and Caminero will be a righty. So there's 2 righties in the lineup, right?
Mangum.
Okay.
Mangum is a switch hitter. Morel won't play.
Nope.
Jansen won't play.
They could go.
Mead
it might be Walls, Tice, Yandy, Caminero, Aranda, Lowe, Lau, and Magner or Meisner, right?
Yeah. Or both of them.
Because one will DH.
If they one DHs.
So they'll have.
Yeah, it's scary.
7 lefties in the lineup.
To just to add fuel to the fire. Can I tell you some expected righty stuff?
Sure.
So 159 ISO, which is not great, but like obviously fine. 181 expected ISO, and then 341 expected WOBA.
Sure.
So still pretty bad expected numbers under the hood there.
Yeah. So there's it could be a Tampa Bay day here on this 10 gamer. Below them, Baltimore gets your boy Ernie Hancock. We got Ryan O'Hearn here at $4,500. They got Colton Cowser back.
Lefties.
They got Gunnar Henderson. Plenty of guys in Baltimore. Holiday. Did they have Holiday still lead off, or did Cowser lead off tonight?
They hit Cowser 6th.
Because Cowser was the leadoff guy for periods of time last year. So Holiday solidified. Good to see there. Work your way down. Torque you could do versus Schuster, though I feel like he's been quiet lately.
No, but you can always play him in a stack. Like he fits that stack perfectly because he hits home runs.
That's fair. In the same vein, Soderstrom, Manzardo, a lot of power, lefties versus righties in those ballparks. Ty France in that ballpark.
France, yeah, and Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
Both.
But Cameron doesn't really give up anything, right? That's my.
But he has in peripheral, in the
not
under the hood.
Not in the real world, though. Not in the reality of the numbers that are on the page.
Well, we got Jack Caglione versus Miles Michaelis. So does it matter, John? He lost his outfield eligibility already.
Mm-hmm.
He DH'd.
Did he get a hit yet? He was over 3, I think, the last I saw.
No, I don't think so. They had a couple. They scored a bunch of runs, but I think he was still over when I last looked. He is 0 for 3. He is hitting second in the bottom, the top of the 7th.
Mentioning again, Carlos Santana's actually been really good. He's $3,700.
He has been really good.
He goes on these runs every now and then. I mentioned Jack already. Berger, if Boz keeps struggling. Yandy, we've talked about. Pascantino. That's probably it.
Yes.
Second base. Ketel Marte homered twice today. Jazz Chisholm homered today. Did Brandon Lau homer today? Do we know? Was he a guy that got the Male or not? They put some runs on the board.
No.
Okay.
No, he did not.
Well, very much like him against Rocker. Gleiber versus Lefty and Schuster 46. Those top 4 guys all in play. Lau's probably my number 1.
Yeah, nothing bad to say about any of them. Brandon Lau, top play.
Okay. Jackson Holiday, $4,200 would be probably the next guy I would get to.
I'd play Dylan Moore against a lefty.
Okay. I feel like, is he still been good? No, I was going to say, I felt like he's cooled. Him and Polanco just shut off at the same time. Let's see. Do you think they play Kim again over Edmund?
I mean, if he keeps hitting 700, maybe they play him over like Conforto.
They're only hitting him 9th, but Ohtani's hit behind him. That's what I mean. So, if Kim's in the lineup, I mean, I'd play either. Obviously, it's a better split for Edmund against a lefty, but if Kim's in the lineup, like green light here. Gonsolin's kind of been bad. I don't necessarily like McNeil, but just kind of shouting out for future positions.
Home runs, dude. He gives up home runs.
Yeah. Semion's down to 3K. Your boy Lennon Sosa's 2,700. It's Cole Young is a lefty though, right? So
yeah.
All right. Luciano. No, not him. I want the other guy. I want the guy from the Mets. Not Luciano. Mauricio. Yeah. All right. Third base. Jose Ramirez versus Schmidt, $5,700. Will hit lefty in Yankee Stadium, so there's certainly some potential for that. I still think Michael Garcia is fine against Michaelis. And then probably Caminero, top 3.
Yeah, I would say per dollar, Caminero is probably the best option, and he's going to be like 150% owned. But I love Ramirez and Michael Garcia as well.
Okay. Max Muncy hasn't homered yet. Hasn't had an opportunity to, but they're starting now, so he might have a homer in about an inning. $3,800 against Canning would certainly get there. Josh Young obviously has some power. Beatty, $3,400 could be in there against Gonsolin. Keep going.
None of this matters.
Barger?
Just go to 3,100. Just click Addison Barger.
Four games.
We'd be doing Poe Degen our boy Poe Degen Stoner is laughing right now with all his munchies. Right? He's like this. He's somewhere in. I know, but. The thing is, he's in Boulder Springs, Colorado.
Yeah.
High as a kite, just spamming Addison Barger props in our chat all day long, every day, and he homered again.
That's true. I mean, if you played the example lineup from the live show, you had Barger, you had Harper in that lineup, right? You had some guys there, Rodon in there, so maybe you're sitting in some money tonight. Not Schwarber though. Big sad on the Kyle Schwarber play, but that happens.
Yeah, it was sad.
Anything else at third? Does Royce Lewis finally do it?
Yeah, if Royce is in.
Alrighty. Short. Trey Turner, $5,800 homer today. Lindor against Gonsolin at 56. Homer twice. Lindor led off yesterday with a homer, $5,600. Bobby Witt. Mookie Betts, Gunnar Henderson still under $5,000. Corey Seager under $5,000. Play any of them. Seager up.
It's been a while since we've played Royals and liked it.
I still don't know if I like
this feels like one of those slates, Johnny.
I don't know.
I like it.
Here's the thing. I retract it. I retract it. It certainly feels like a good spot to play Royals. I won't be playing Royals. because their floor they're just so low. They've been so bad. They've been so inconsistent. I don't know if the Royals make my top
isn't
3.
it raised though?
No, I'm playing the Rays.
Doesn't Caglione raise it?
I don't know. You're lagging to me a little bit here. So if I start talking over people, apologies to the show audience. I promise.
Yeah.
Promise. James is opening up Fangraphs and it's breaking his computer. So I am not talking over him. Just gonna get that warning now before anybody starts yelling at me in the chat. But it just started, hopefully. So if there's a pause or delay, it is not me. I promise you. I promise. Anyway, Seager up is good. Witt's fine if you want to play Kansas City. I would play Jacob Wilson if he's in the lineup, but you rightfully mentioned he had a neck injury, neck ailment that left him out of Tuesday's lineup. So maybe he's out of Wednesday's lineup. And if he's out of Wednesday's lineup, even better for Zebby because you don't usually get a guy out that's hitting 350 that often. So good for him there. What else are you looking at shortstop?
I like Mason Wynn, 4,100. I don't mind Bo Bichette at 4,000 if you're playing Toronto stack. I love Correa as much as I did on Tuesday? Was it today Monday or was it today Tuesday? Monday. On the Monday slate or Tuesday slate. So I would play Correa 3,700.
You are killing me. It's Tuesday.
I don't know what day it is. My draw 3,200 hitting at the top of the lineup. Brooks Lee has been pretty good, and then Ronnie Mauricio against Gonsolin. I mean, he's flat 2K min salary. I would play him.
Yeah, Mauricio obviously got called up. Gonsolin, switch hitter, 2K. You got to fit into a lot of lineups. Help us spend up on a 10-game slate. Though there's not as much expensive pitching on this slate as there was on the other slate, so maybe we'll have a few more dollars to kind of play around with. Talk to me about the outfield here, Grande. Obviously, the big names are up at top. Byron Buxton probably notably stands out in this Jacob Lopez matchup, and obviously the Twins in Sacramento. But who are some of your other favorites here?
Would like to just point out that Junior Caminero has done it again. Because all he does is hit home runs. He just homers every day. This is new favorite thing. Just hit home runs. Judge, good baseball player. Ohtani, very good baseball player. Ronald Acuna, Merrill Kelly reverse splits guy. Kyle Schwarber, I think looks really good. I'd be willing to go right back to the well with Schwarbs. Buxton looks great. I think he'll be the most popular of the top tier. I'd play Soto for a home run. J-Rod, Josh Lowe. I like all those players specifically.
Yeah, obviously the Tampa Bay guys stand out with Lowe there at $5,100. Wyatt Langford, 48, even with his recent struggles. Cody Bellinger against Ortiz. Ryan O'Hearn down below. Let's see. Where would you go next? A Rosa Reina versus Povich, maybe. Pajes is 42. Ozuna just feels way too cheap at $4,200.
Yes.
Let's see. Man, a lot of splits. Is Evan Carter back? Evan Carter's back.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he got pinch hit for early, like one at bat.
That's not good.
Which I found. Yeah, maybe could have been delay. Maybe like didn't want to risk an injury coming back from the rain delay.
Mangum and Meisner, as we kind of highlighted.
Nimmo 37.
Yeah, Nimmo 37. Let's see.
Wenzel Perez, switch hitter, 34.
Kepler was good tonight.
Yep. They called Blade back up. Willie Castro. I was wondering, they hit him fifth.
Took away his second base eligibility on us.
Took away the second base. Sucks. But yeah, I would play Willie Castro.
That's probably it until we get some official lineups here. Let's Dylan Carlson, 2,500.
Yeah, Carlson. I was gonna say Class A at 28 against Abel. Class A has been really good, really fast, dude. Grishik, when we know Grishik will be in the lineup.
Yeah, I just don't want to go against Sale with him.
Well, Nolan Jones has been really good for Cleveland. If they hit him second, or even if he's not hitting second, I mean, Nolan Jones has been pretty serviceable as well.
All right. Let's get a lineup. I think we're going Tampa.
Yeah.
There's a core here. Aranda low and low.
Caminero,
yeah. Do we just 4-stack it?
I think you have to put. I feel like you have to play Caminero, right? With how good he's been.
Mauricio and did we have like a core pitcher here?
Pavetta?
Pavetta gives
Clark Schmidt?
Yeah, Clark Schmidt. Okay. All right. Schmidt, Aranda, Lowe, Caminero, Mauricio, and Lau and Lowe. 4-stacking Tampa Bay as a core stack. Punting with Mauricio there at 2K and getting Clark Schmidt. Give you $5,300 a player. Remaining, we'll finish out the example lineup in the Discord, and we'll be back here live at 5 p.m. Eastern time, everybody. Until then, we'll catch you later.